What is up, YouTube? My Cowboys family here, bringing you guys the latest update on our very own Dallas Cowboys. And of course, thank you so much for joining us here on the familiest of Fridays. Of course, take a second, hit like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, follow us on all social media at MyCowboysFamily, and of course, hop in the Discord. Link for that's in the description box down below.
Hey guys, hey. Sorry we were off again because there's no news going on. A little bit of news trickling down. It should have been a Cowboys quickie tonight. We'll quickly get through the news, info, and updates for our Cowboys. A couple important things like heading into the season and into this draft, which is the main topics of tonight. Offensive line draft. We'll discuss it more. You can see we have the world's greatest GM right here. So, hey, we'll talk about all this and more. But first, let's talk about those repping the board on a Fan Friday. And none other than Harley Dad is not only the sponsor of the week, but also, as you can see up there, the Cash App King. Woo. So big shout outs to Harley Dad on the After Dark specials. Jason Renfro right here rocking it. 97 points on the Stream Boss. You know, he's always somewhere on the boards, Mr. Jason Renfro. Appreciate him. And if you look at the gifting membership board, the champion, back-to-back like our 90s Cowboys, Skeptical Fan, who, by the way, dropped a little love pre-stream, a $3 holler.
A classic Go Cowboys with an extra big thumbs up.
Super sticker. Appreciate him, as always. Much love to the man staying skeptical. I'm the top 10 on the board here. So, I do also want to shout out, of course, the people in the lead on things. And if you look right above, Jason Renfro, you see him with the Stream Boss. He's also currently in the lead 4-1. 4 gifted memberships to 1 gifted membership for Skeptical Fan. And anybody who's a member in the membership is able to, is allowed to, can gift memberships. That's the way you can do that and get on the board. One of the best ways of giving back. So that's the way that board looks. When it comes to the Cash App King and the sponsor of the week, the overall leader. So one guy you gotta say, McLovin. That's what you gotta say. He's the man leading the boards right now on the overall side, number one on against everybody for the last 2 weeks, and also on top of the Cash App board as well. So extra special shout outs for McLovin. Why is that? Well, we had an After Dark special on our Wednesday after our Wednesday live stream. We had a nice little love, a little great stream, and drops from different people in the house like Sco971. Jason Renfro came back for more and dropped some more there. Marissa Sparkle, Harley Dad, Miko, and of course McLovin. So they all dropped the love there on a Wednesday night After Dark. Thursday night, no stream, no After Dark. We did have Tammy Soltis though. She's back in the membership in the Navy Blue crew. So much love to you. And everybody in the memberships. That means Navy, Blue, Silver, Star, and over everything. And before we do the shout-outs on those parts of things, on our Fan Friday, Silver gets them too tonight. We got to also give a big shout-out to the different ways of dropping the love here, which is either the super chats like you see from Skeptical Fan. You can hit the thanks button, gift it that way. But you can also gift memberships or jump in the membership like Tammy Soltis back in that. And there's 4 other ways you can try to hit up, not just the overall board, as you can see McLovin in first place, but the Cash App board specifically. How do you do that, baby?
Of course, you have the Cash App money sign My Cowboys Family, the Venmo at My-Cowboys-Family, the regular PayPal link, and last but not least, the Streamlabs link lets your comment show up on screen just like a super chat.
I should say all those drops on After Dark, Cash App or PayPal's. So that's why the Cash App is connected there. McLovin, right on that wave. And as we do our Fan Friday shout-outs, don't forget, every day we give the Star and Over Everything shout-outs for the level memberships, but we also have a monthly raffle for those in the Star and Over Everything. Sewn and stitch jerseys. You know how it goes here, guys. I mean, all kind of players, old school, new school, all kinds of styles. Like 40 different names to choose from, players and eras and, styles, like I said, sizes. So it's all great. Cowboy Mosh, much love. And you also get a chance to you don't have to be just the Star level or everything or Over Everything level. You can add to that, or you can just jump into the raffle if you're one of our weekly winners. For example, last week it was Harley Dad. It hit for the month of March, so he was in that one. But if McLovin holds on, well, he gets a bonus raffle entry. He's not even in either membership, so that's a way of getting a chance to win one of our monthly jersey raffles. So much love to everybody on both those Star and Over Everything membership boards, and of course those that are our weekly winners. Now, I do have to say, we have we have the Star level and Over Everything level shout-outs on the nightly, but on a Fan Friday, it's even extra special because we shout out that Silver level too. So maybe I'll let you I'll let you hit it up here. I'll let you hit that up first.
Yeah, I have to take a second here to shout out Jason Renfro with $1 holler. Classic Go Cowboys. Thank you so much, Jason. And you might be hearing Jason's name again here in just a moment. Like Mr. MCF said, thank you very much to our silver star and over everything, but thank you, Prince Jackson.
Yeah.
We have the man, Mr. A. Lavelle. Of course, Marissa Sparkle, Mary Alvarez, Skeptical Fan, Dwayne Broussard, the Top Dog, The Lunatic, Jason Renfro, LC, and over everything, Seabass.
Woo. And again, we got to get on the same page with Mr. Seabass. We can get him on the show here sometime soon. So that'll be coming soon here. He has a two-shot special to do his thing. So
yeah, let us know when you're available,
can't
Mr.
wait.
Seabass.
Yes, cannot wait to do that. And yeah, you're going to hear, you just heard Jason Renfro's name there once again. And I think you may hear even one more time, honestly, because he dropped $1 holler in the Cash App. So there you go, star level member type of activities. So thank you, Jason Renfro, once again on this board, on the Cash App board. And hey, he's currently leading the gifting board by a couple. And he's up by a field goal right now. So maybe as we do the shout outs here on this side of things and we talk about the end of the month membership jersey raffle, what about the people in the house right now ready to talk some Cowboy news, info, and updates live with us tonight on MCF?
Thank you very much to Stephen White. What's up? We have the man himself, Seabass. And hey, no apologies needed, Mr. Seabass. We just want to make sure we don't, miss out on when you are available and so we can adjust our schedule according to you. So seriously, man, just let us know when you're able to come on here. We're more than happy to accommodate you. So Jason Renfro, of course, the man himself. Kevin Bilbo, hello and hi. Let's go. Tyrone Church, much love. Let's win this 6, he said. Hey, this road to 6 is feeling longer and longer and longer.
Yeah,
for
farther and farther
reason.
away, it feels like.
So, kind of rolling back. Griff181, peace to you. Brendan James, hello, what's up? Yeah. Dinnerberry Sports, much love. Bruce got the Toxic Juice representing. Back we have Skeptical Fan, of course, always stay skeptical.
Always.
John Syme. Pork egg rolls. Still don't really get it, but I'm rolling with it.
I have some pork. I love
Dustin
pork egg
Roberts, what's up? Oh, cool, much love. Freedom First was first. Good for you, man. So, Bama Fan, what's up? Hey, that's... He said Dak is weak. Well, where would we be without everyone's Dak opinion? So,
well, luckily today, not
Bama fan.
too much Dak stuff tonight. For those that either love or hate him, sorry. For those that love him, I guess those that don't like him, and I guess you're in luck. But you don't get to say the Dak hate you love when I talk about Dak. Anyways, starting off with NFL news, and there's always a lot more NFL news right now than Cowboy news. O.J. Simpson, running back for the Bills, first guy to ever hit 2,000 yards rushing. Of course, the Nicole Brown and Ron Goldman murders, trial that he was found not guilty for, officially died yesterday at the age of 76. It was according from a statement from his family that said he succumbed to his battle with cancer, and of course passed away at 76 years old. But his cancer was prostate cancer, and this has nothing to do with OJ, whether you like him or not. Irrelevant. But just generally speaking, men in this day and age shouldn't be dying from prostate cancer anymore. You got to go to the doctor. I got to do this too. So you got to get annual checks. The least aggressive of all cancers is prostate cancer, so you could be stopped. So this is not about OJ. This is about men and prostate cancer. Just a little heads up there, since I think 90% of the people on our channel are men. So, hey, there you go. OJ, and older, of course, 76 still. Very, very preventable. It would have been. Could have been. There you go. Now, you got the UFL. There's a game going on. Game's going on now in the offseason, and there was a 64-yard game-winning field goal made. And it was sent to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. It was kicked by Jake Bates from the USFL Panthers. And basically they said, new to the Pro Football Hall of Fame, the official game ball that Jake Bates of the USFL Panthers kicked for a 64-yard game-winning field goal during the opening weekend of the UFL, which, of course, just kicked off this past weekend. So I just wanted to throw that out there in case you guys saw that game winner. 64 yards. That's tough. A game winner at 64 yards. That's pretty major. Pressure and far in a subpar league, so to speak. Great job there. That football is in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Interesting that they made its way through there. Now, Jason Renfro dropping a $1.17 holler. Much love to him. And a Go Cowboys.
Thank you, Jason. Appreciate you, of course. Make sure Mr. MCF is making his little background adjustments here. So,
yeah, Jason's creeping up. He's creeping up.
Definitely a crazy world we're living in. Stephen White, I am so sorry about that. My condolences. His dad passed away from prostate cancer. So,
oof, yeah, it's very sad.
All the men out there watching, make sure to go get your checkups.
Yeah,
just a little blood test.
For
promise.
sure. Now also, well, blood test and then the little finger. But yeah, the thing is that the serious situation went down that we know of with the Chiefs wide receiver Rashee Rice with that accident in Dallas. Yesterday, he surrendered to police on Thursday on charges which included aggravated assault after he and another driver of a speeding sports car, Lamborghini and a Corvette, allegedly caused a crash. We've seen the video involving a half a dozen vehicles on a Dallas highway last month. And he turned himself in, but then it's also found out today that he was driving at least 119 miles per hour in the seconds before he caused that multi-vehicle crash that injured at least 4 people last month. And so this is an arrest warrant that was obtained by the Dallas Morning News. The warrant also details injuries for at least 7 people, including a 3-year-old.
Jeez.
One driver who was hit suffered injuries to her face, head, torso, and leg, and police wrote that she will be rendered to a life of, quote, limited mobility and sight.
Jesus.
While she's seeking treatment right now.
So sounds like she's going to have permanent lasting effects.
Yeah,
or they are going to have permanent lasting effects.
No, it's a she.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I just wasn't 100% sure if I remembered you specifying the gender. So I was like,
yeah.
Just like imagining
it was a 3-year-old child that got hurt, but then the woman, the worst injury was to a woman, head, leg, torso, that she's limited mobility, limited sight. For a life of like this, who's gonna
wishing her
seeking treatment. Yeah,
recovery, very speedy recovery.
Rashee Rice should obviously pay for his mistake there. Stupid mistake. By the way, the driver of the other car, which is his buddy, which is still in college, SMU cornerback Theodore Teddy Knox, was suspended by the Mustang football team, SMU team. Knox was the other driver involved in that March 30th multi-crash on the highway with wide receiver from the Chiefs, Rashee Rice. Now, I do want to switch over real quick to the Tavondre Sweat rookie situation. We're going to talk about rookies at the end of the stream, but Tavondre Sweat, we know what happened with him, drunk driving, rear-ended by his former teammate linebacker Samjay Burrell. And after being suspended or kicked off the team, I think he announced today his entry into the transfer portal, meaning he's leaving Texas. And what did he say, baby?
I would like to thank God for the opportunity of being at the University of Texas. I want to thank my family and brothers for supporting me. I'm extremely grateful for Coach Sark and the Longhorn staff. I'll be entering the transfer portal with 4 years of eligibility.
There you go. He's a redshirt freshman, so he's going to try to start new somewhere else. Good luck to him. But he ran from the scene of the crime. Probably was drunk. At least he wasn't.
Sounds like he's running from the scene of the crime now.
Well, the thing is, again, we don't know, but it was enough to get him kicked off the team. That's all we do know. Now, shifting back to NFL news, running back off the board, free agency wise. We keep an eye on some running backs. I like Kareem Hunt, formerly of the Browns, but it was his buddy Nick Chubb who was signed by not signed, but a reworked deal was done with the Browns and their star running back Nick Chubb, who reworked the contract for 2024 to lower his base salary of $11.775 million. So it's going to be cut. Basically, it is a pay cut because the only way he could earn it is with incentives. So let's say he was going to get, $11.775 million this year. That was what he was going to get. But he might have to earn $4 or $5 million of that with incentives, with play time, and being on the field. So Nick Chubb, there's injury concerns sometimes with him. He's working back from that serious knee injury, but he's not leaving the Browns. He's staying in Cleveland, and they like him, and they basically just that's a smart thing there. You take instead of being cut or something happening for him, he gets to still get let's say $7 million. Lowering his base value from 11.7 to let's say 7.7 or 6.7 million. The other $4 or $5 million he's gonna have to earn back by not being injured.
Yeah.
It's just fair enough.
And honestly, it's still probably better than whatever deal he could get
elsewhere
out there on the streets, so to speak. So it makes sense for him to take what constitutes a relatively small pay cut in the grand scheme of things.
It's earn that money
his
back.
earning potential, even just on the base salary side of things, is still higher than probably what another team would have maybe offered.
We don't know what it is.
And that's not even counting, like you said, the incentive of, hey, just stay healthy.
Well, I mean, the incentives are like, if he's healthy per game, he gets another bunch of money. If he hits,
like,
if he hits
now
certain,
it's like, now he also has that.
If he hits,
earn it back.
If he hits certain playing time, if he, certain things happen, I don't know the details, and I don't know how much is his base. I don't know how much he has to earn back. Point is, like you said, probably a better deal with the Browns staying at his base level, whatever, $7-8 million is more than he's going to get anywhere else with the injury, especially. Probably even less than $7 or $8 million. Still is going to be more than he's going to get somewhere else. Either way, he's working his way back from injury, and he's not leaving Cleveland. Now, tight end CJ Uzoma, he's a free agent, former Bengals and Jets starter, expected to sign with our division rivals from the Philadelphia Eagles. Yeah. So they're adding another tight end to their list there.
Of course they are.
Uzoma, who flew to Philly yesterday, passed his physical, and they're going to try to bolster their passing attack. Another weapon for the Eagles offense with CJ Uzoma. Of course, Uzoma, they got Goddard. So they're going to, they have like a 2 tight end set they're going to try to be using against us. So get ready, Cowboy fans. They're coming. They're getting players. They're doing things. We're just sitting on our ass. So we'll see what happens. The Giants, they ain't stopping either. Hey, well, the whole NFC East is, Dan Quinn has half our team. The Eagles, they got, they keep adding players in depth and all that stuff. The Giants signed veteran free agent defensive tackle Jordan Phillips, a guy who I've always liked as a nose tackle in the NFL. That's another position we are in dire need of. Nope, no, Cowboys not interested. The Giants are getting him, though, signing their nose tackle, one tech, Jordan Phillips, former Bills defensive tackle. Has some familiar faces in New York. A deal, is a major. This helps their interior defense once again. So the Giants are, they're going the right direction with the Eagles and Washington. We not moving or going in the wrong direction. So there you go. Now, one other, I talked about this guy the other day as a potential replacement for Stephon Gilmore. If we're not going to sign Stephon Gilmore and we're going to go into the draft. Maybe not drafting anybody at cornerback, but if we're going to draft with Nashawn Wright as a number 4th, a 4th cornerback, we're in trouble. So I was saying, hey, let's go get Rock Ya-Sin. You can't forget that name.
Yeah, of course not.
Colts cornerback. A lot of people saying he's not really that good, but he was kind of banged up. The Niners, they're signing him. So while the Giants, the Eagles, our divisional teams, and you got the Niners, conference rival, going out there and signing more depth and adding cornerbacks, and we're sitting here doing nothing. We got Nashawn Wright ready to come in there if we need him. So Rock Ya-Sin is a starter type guy. He would have been a backup. No, not good enough for the Cowboys. Don't know the numbers yet. I'm sure it was going to be too much for our front office. Now Stephon Gilmore. Let me just bring him up because again he's the cornerback I literally just mentioned. Like, hey, are we going to bring it? Are we going to do anything with Stephon Gilmore? It looks like the Panther situation is not going anywhere when it comes to him going to Carolina. So he's still out there as a free agent. But that's not what I'm talking about today. And also, I want to make sure I say also, I clarify this for some bigger content creators out there. I had to kind of clarify this because they used a quote that he had put out there in Twitter, but they took it out of context.
Okay.
Almost referring it as if it was Dan Quinn he was talking about. He was not, guys. He was actually talking about Bill Belichick today. And he said basically Bill Belichick is the greatest coach. Don't let that show, The Dynasty, fool you. Remember, guys, there's a documentary on the Patriots called The Dynasty where Stephon Gilmore has taken issue with the way they're portraying Bill Belichick in this special. So Stephon Gilmore wrote on social media today that having watched the series, he's disappointed in the lack of credit that Bill Belichick received for the Patriots' success. What did he say, baby?
He said, quote, "Just watch The Dynasty. Bill was the greatest coach I've ever been around. Don't let that fool you. I'll never forget we were a predominantly man team during the 2018 season all the way up to the Super Bowl. When we played the Rams, we switched to zone. No coach would switch what they did all season in a big game like that. Or him telling me to play trail technique in Buffalo because the quarterback can't throw against the wind when I was following a big-time receiver. If you ever played corner, that's not a good feeling playing trail technique, but I shut the wide receiver down to 0 catches."
Yeah, and listen.
So he's speaking to the kind of, again, the specific coaching ways that he impacted the team that, I mean, I have to agree with him. You cannot have the success that the Patriots had if it wasn't for Bill Belichick. Like, obviously, Tom Brady was a huge factor there, too. But he was definitely put in place there by Belichick.
Listen, it's been a consistent criticism of this documentary that portrays Tom Brady and Robert Kraft favorably and Bill Belichick unfavorably. Belichick, he don't give a shit. He's not even commented on it. But the point I'm trying to say here is, for the Cowboys side, some content creators took one quote he did on his own. He said, quote, no coach would switch what they did all season in a big game like that. That was a by itself Twitter post. And I see a lot of content creators retweeting it, putting eyes, retweeting it, and then everyone's like, it's Dan Quinn. That motherfucker, Dan Quinn's fault. He was not talking about Dan. Everyone was referring. They thought they took it out of context.
Yeah,
and everybody thought it was Dan Quinn.
Yeah.
But we're talking about the big game is the Green Bay game. We played a certain defense, and we switched. They didn't say what kind of defense. This quote was just, no coach. It was just this. No coach would switch what they did all season in a big game like that. He was referring to the fact that Belichick played, man the whole year, then switched to zone in the Super Bowl. Like, he's saying no coach would ever do that, like, in their right mind, unless they're great.
Yeah, especially when that strategy is the one that got you all the way to the Super Bowl, which is what he was trying to imply.
And then he flipped it on them, and they moved, and it messed with the Rams. And who won that Super Bowl? Belichick and the Patriots. So again, this is more about Belichick, but I'm mentioning I'm going from Gilmore, because talk about cornerback, to Gilmore now. Still out there, free agent, but hey, I want to make sure it's clarified. He was not talking about Dan Quinn. For those that got confused, tricked, or clickbaited, it was Bill Belichick he was talking about. And you know who I'm talking about now? The man from Hawaii, repping that star over everything, no matter what happens to this team. The man, Mark Hovsepian.
Woo.
Aloha. Much love to him. Back on the scene, crispy and clean. What did the man, Mark Hovsepian, have to say?
Shame on you, Mr. MCF.
Me?
You know that Jerry Jones knows his guys are the best. Only a total collapse will make Jerry Jones change. Other than that, it's more of the same clowns.
What do you think?
I guess my question is, what constitutes a total collapse? Because similar to All In, do we have a different definition of total collapse than the Cowboys do? Because I have a feeling that is also the case. Because remember, they're looking at this offseason and saying, everything's good, everything's gravy, we're fine.
Yeah, we're putting more.
We're looking at this offseason, basically biting our nails off, like, holy crap, what else are we going to do? Yeah,
it's getting worse. What else are we not going to do?
True. So that's a much more accurate statement, baby.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, I much love the Mark Hovsepian. Listen, I can't. You know it. We've been saying this for years and years here on MCF. It's a clown show, but look, somehow I always hope that we can overcome it. I know it's not realistic at this point, but we're going to be 0-0 when the season starts. So I'm hoping something happens and clicks in this team, but I'm not counting on it. I'm hoping, not counting on it. And I'm not counting on Stephon Gilmore being in Dallas this year. But again, I want to make sure for those that think he was criticizing Dan Quinn, please, let's get our facts right. Isn't it good to get the facts right? I mean, even if you want to hate Dan Quinn and want to use that quote against Dan Quinn from Gilmore, I like to get with facts. So which thing with facts, and Gilmore is referring to Bill Belichick on that. Now, by the way, one last thing, which is actually, again, connected to the Dallas Cowboys through CeeDee Lamb and that new deal that hopefully he'll be getting one day soon. I don't know if he's ever going to get it, but CeeDee Lamb, guys, we know he's waiting to get a contract going. But do you know the ball is rolling already for the Devontae Smith contract extension for the Eagles? I remember he was picked the same year as him. And right now, guys, there's a lot of people thinking that he will be the next $25 million man at receiver. And this is a question that baffles me. If the Eagles get Devontae Smith signed for $25 million or more before CeeDee Lamb's deal gets finished, I mean, it might skew the numbers some. It might push things up some. I don't know, but
it feels like it kind of has to. That's just my personal opinion.
Yeah, I mean,
right?
Here's the reason why I don't know if it has to.
Okay.
Because I think Justin Jefferson and CeeDee Lamb are looking to closer to $30 million.
Okay.
So it might not even make a difference, but it just shows you more of the clown show, like Mark Hovsepian said, like we all say here. It takes them so long. Now, I will say this. I want to make sure we all get on the same side on this again. that remember it takes two to tango here, and I think this specific situation is also on CeeDee Lamb because he is waiting for Justin Jefferson to sign his deal so he can make a little more than Justin Jefferson. Justin Jefferson's waiting for CeeDee Lamb to sign his deal because he wants to make a little bit more than CeeDee Lamb.
It's like they're playing a weird game of chicken with each other.
Yeah, and in the meantime, DeVonta Smith is going to push the money for receivers up a little bit more. So again, to me, I agree. CeeDee Lamb is probably the only way you get CeeDee Lamb signed before Justin Jefferson is if the deal you give him has to be enticing enough for him to accept. It has to be more than maybe, not that he's asking for, but closer to what he's asking for than not. When it comes to the deal with CeeDee Lamb, well, this is all because the Cowboys waited this long, guys. This is the Cowboys' own fault. If the Cowboys, front office, Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones, would have done what I said last year they should have done, which is, I'm going to say this like this, overpay. Yeah, I said it. Overpay for CeeDee Lamb. Because this year you're going to pay more than overpaying for him last year. Last year would have been cheaper to overpay for CeeDee Lamb than pay the normal price for CeeDee Lamb now. And that's what I had said last year.
Yeah, part of the unfortunate quote-unquote cap hell that the Cowboys keep finding themselves in, it is because of exactly this. It is their lack of desire to pay these young players while they have shown enough that you want to keep them, but also might be able to negotiate cheaper money because you're taking advantage, being proactive, signing them sooner.
Yeah, but signing them sooner is one thing, right? If CeeDee Lamb last year is saying, I want top 5 money, the Cowboys should have given it to him. They didn't give it to him because they wanted another year to make sure, whatever the reason was. Now, he's top 1, 2. Now the Cowboys got paid top 1, 2 money, and another year went by, which raises all the money up. If we had overpaid for him last year and gave him $23 million, $24 million, $25 million, we wouldn't have this discussion right now. So let DeVonta Smith get $27 million. Who gives a fuck? Like, he gives a fuck, but nobody else cares. That's the way a good front office works. You overpay the guys that you want to keep here, and then you win. Next year, you make the money back. The Cowboys are playing games. This is what happens. So, again, this kind of deal you give to CeeDee Lamb now, for us to get him now, we had done this last year.
Yeah.
It would cost $25 million, we've been fine. This year, it's going to be over $30 million for him to even say maybe until we see what Jefferson gets paid. If Jefferson gets paid $29, he'll say $30. But if Jefferson gets paid $32, he's going to say $33. And if we had done this last year, it would have been at $25 or $26. You guys feel me on this? So,
yeah.
Again.
James, sorry, I had to read this comment. It did make me laugh a little bit here. James Hurst said, Jerry said, I don't want to write more checks. I'd rather have headlines.
and that's what he's doing. He's getting bad headlines. So the fucking clown show strikes again. This offseason, this goes to free agent signings, contract extensions like CeeDee Lamb.
Mm-hmm.
You can say contract extensions like, that we didn't do yet, like Dak Prescott. Contract extensions that we can do like Micah Parsons. No one signed. No one got an extension. No one got a restructure, which doesn't really. This does not go for restructures. But we have Eric Kendricks, the only outside free agent we signed. We signed a bunch of our guys for like the cheapest dollar you can sign them for of our own guys. The Cowboys have spent the least amount of money this offseason in the NFL. Like the Panthers, they spent $355 million in cash. Jacksonville second, $339. The Eagles spent $319 million. Tennessee at $306 million, and down the list.
Yeah.
When you get to the 30th team, New Orleans, they've only spent $59 million with free agent signings and contract extensions.
Okay.
The Chargers, $44 million. They're 31st. And, of course, the Cowboys are worst. 32nd team. You know how much? The Chargers are at $44 million spent this year on free agent signings and contract extensions. Keeping your own guys. Cowboys have spent $11 million. They spent 44. We spent 11. And that's the difference.
Sounds like a joke.
That's the difference between 31st and 32nd. Usually they're like a lot closer, Like the Chargers are, they're like $15 million back on the Saints in spending. We're $33 million back on the team in front of us. So this front office is completely fucking us. But again, not a surprise. It's an expectation with this front office. And if you guys haven't learned, I know you guys, most of you guys here know this shit already. But if you haven't learned from that yet, then they're going to keep fooling you every single damn year. Now, Dak Prescott. I want to mention something about Dak. A lot of people blame him for everything, for Dak Prescott. But, last year, Dak had his best season after Kellen Moore left Dallas. And Justin Herbert, at the Chargers, had his worst season that he ever had under Kellen Moore.
I'm sure that's just a coincidence. Absolutely just a coincidence.
And now Kellen Moore is in Philly. So, 1 year there, and he kicked them right out. So, when it comes to the blame, a lot of people blame Dak Prescott. And they put listen, let me just say, he deserves blame. But a lot of people put the full blame on Dak Prescott and put it on him. And I've always been saying that is stupidity to think that Dak is the only guy here to blame. He's a guy to blame, but not the main guy. And definitely, not the main reason, in my opinion. So, and the reason I say that is, listen to this, guys. You can put, of course, he deserves some blame. But look at Dak Prescott, how he did in the last 3 playoff losses. San Francisco in 2021, San Francisco in 2022, and Green Bay last year. Dak played poorly, let's just say. And not I think in 2 out of 3 games he played poorly. But how did Dan Quinn's defense do in these games? I don't have Dan Quinn here anymore. But how did Dan Quinn's defense do in these games? Last year in the Green Bay loss, defense total had 1 tackle for loss, 1 pass deflection, no sacks, no forced fumbles, no interceptions, and no touchdowns. In 2022 again,
what the heck were they doing?
The defense didn't show up. In 2022, we lost to the Niners. 2 tackles for loss the entire game, 2 pass deflections, no sacks, no forced fumbles, 1 interception, and no touchdowns. 2021 at home with that slide and that spiking the ball. 2021 at home against the Niners, 3 tackles for loss, 3 pass deflections, 0 sacks, 0 forced fumbles, 0 interceptions, and 0 touchdowns. So when the defense doesn't show up and helps in the playoffs, when they don't show up, the offense will sputter. The offense will struggle. The defense is our cornerstone, and it's not showing up. So this is on the defense and Dan Quinn when it comes to the playoffs. Not only, it just shines a light. It's not only Dak. It's Dak. It's the defense not showing up, and it's a lot of other things going down. Much love to the man, the one and only, Mark Hovsepian.
Woo!
With that 5 on it.
Mahalo once more.
Yeah.
Do you know what Mark had to say?
Hit me with it. I'm waiting.
Jerry Jones is waiting for you guys to be released after the draft. Seriously, he has to have a Herschel-like trade for Dak. No one can be this stupid. Well, it is Jerry Jones.
Well, here's the thing. Jerry Jones, as you know, Mark, cannot trade Dak Prescott unless Dak agrees to it. And is that going to be? Are the Cowboys trying to? Are they trying to sour him? Are they trying to push him out of Dallas? Maybe trying to say, hey, if we piss him off enough, maybe he'll just take off and want to get traded.
I mean,
and we can push a deal here.
This is the confusing part because, again, on one hand,
trying to figure it out.
But that's my point. Like, on one hand, the Cowboys swear up, down, and sideways that this is who they want long term. These are like the visions and the scheme and the people, the personnel, whatever it is. The point is, you are our future, whatever context that means. But they certainly don't seem to back up those same words. Like their words are not matching up with their actions.
Because they're trying to. They think this is called negotiation. This is called schmuckery. This is called fuckery. This is called playing with your.
Basically just forcing your will upon everyone is not a compromise.
This is playing with your. This is playing with your food and playing games. And the more they play around, the more we're going to lose players and lose opportunity. And then the more we're going to have to pay the top players like Micah, Dak, and CeeDee Lamb. The more money we pay them, the more angry the fans get at them. Isn't that funny how it works? Because of the Joneses. Not because of Dak and CeeDee Lamb and Micah Parsons. They got their own faults. But the big fault is the front office fucking our cap. And they're the only ones endangering our cap. Not Dak. Not CeeDee. Not Micah. They're endangering it in certain ways. The front office is endangering it year after year after year. And it doesn't even do anything with the money they have available. When they do sign these contracts and push money forward, they just say they don't have the money. And it's a lie. So it's the front office, the main issue. And it will always be the front office. As long as there's a Jones name up there. And right now it's Jerry, and the next one up is Steven, and that's not good. So when you look at Dak and his performance, he didn't have good performances. He led the team back against the Niners in that first game in 2021 when we lost at home. He hurt us in the first half. It was really bad play calling from Kellen Moore against the Niners, and the defense fell short at the end of that game. And we tried whatever we could. Of course, it was a Zeke snapping the ball as a center. That wasn't Dak's fault. And then last year against Green Bay, this past season against Green Bay, of course, Dak had a bad game, but we know about all the penalties and the touchdowns we gave up on that first down drives. I mean, the first drive with the first downs we gave up with stupid penalties on defense and pinning Dak back 2 or 3 times on our own 5-yard line. Dak made a bad pass, a bad read, and it was a pick that led to another touchdown. So it is on Dak, of course. Some of it's on Dak, but it's also a lot on the fucking defense. It didn't show up 3 years in a row for our 3 straight last losses in Dan Quinn's supposedly unbelievable defense. Well, it unbelievably did not show up in those 3 losses. And that, to me, is a bigger issue than Dak having an off game. We still could have won those games with Dak having an off game if the defense would have played just a little bit fucking better. We got our man, Marco Seppi, with another one. Another $5 holler. What did the man say?
From a guy who can't stand Dak. It's not all on Dak.
Thank you.
Dak has good talent on O and D and can't beat the better teams consistently, yet he wants number 1 money. It's clowns.
Well, again, you know how I feel about this, Mark. You know, I think that it's hard to find a quarterback that's going to be better than Dak Prescott just because we want him to be better. You know what I'm saying? Like, Dak is going to be. We know who Dak is.
Oh yeah.
We know
so
Dak.
Stephen White said it. Dak is in charge, not Steven.
Well, I disagree.
No,
it depends what you say. When you talk about the contract, the reason why Dak is in charge is because of the front office. They let him be in charge. They fucked up.
Yeah,
I can't blame.
Yeah, they handed the reins over to him. So,
and they did that because they did not have Plan B. They didn't have another focus. What if we want to move on from Dak or negotiate with Dak? No, they left no option. So Dak has all the cards. So it has to be on. Dak has to be the one that wants to leave town, and Dak is the one that has to be the one that says, you know what, I can't take it here in Dallas anymore. I'm ready to move on. I'm not respected here enough. I got to move on. And any other team out there is going to pay him, the money he wants. But the point is for the Cowboys, we make a decision because the longer you wait, the more it's going to cost the team and a little bit more of our future. Marco Seppi, and once again, another 5 on it, taking Jason Renfro down to 79 points on the Streamboats. What did the man say?
Oh, thank you so much. Big mahalo. He said, Mr. MCF, I will send you a breakdown of Dak's games. Generally, blows out bad teams. He beats one good team, loses to one bad team, and then does okay against everyone else.
I know, Mark, my guy, I know, but that's the thing. The way you're even mentioning this, the way you're saying this, it shows me like, Dak won this game. Dak wasn't able to beat these guys. It's not Dak. It's the Cowboys. It's not the Dak. It's not the Rain Dakota Cowboys. It's the Dallas Cowboys. So it's coaching, game planning, scheming, defense, offense, offensive line. You can say, well, he got players, but what if the offensive line is missing? I mean, we know the issues, and I'm just trying to say sometimes it's the offense missing line, missing blocks. Offensive line. Sometimes it's receivers dropping the ball. And sometimes it's Dak Prescott throwing a bad pass. But we have an inordinate amount of mistakes going on in the offense that are not tied to Dak. So to me, it's not Dak can't beat these teams. It's that Dak has trouble beating teams or on his own. And that's what my point is. If we all know, you guys know, I know it, baby. Mm-hmm. You know it. We all know Dak Prescott is not Mahomes or Aaron Rodgers. He's not going to say, give me the reins, I'm taking over. He's just going to be like, tell me what to do, coach. I'm going to do it, right? You have to set Dak up with the pieces around him. It's just the way Dak maybe you don't want to give him $60 million. Well, that's what his number is. And I agree, he doesn't deserve it. But that's what the Cowboys front office has allowed it to go that way. So we know Dak's strengths. So what would be the smart thing to do? If you're going to get rid of this guy and that guy, you got to replace this guy and that guy. The Cowboys didn't do a god fuck thing. They didn't do a damn thing. They just replaced nobody for Dak. and for McCarthy and for this offense. So that to Jerry Jones, we know, Mark, we know why. Because the fucking Joneses are delusional. They think Dak is the best quarterback of all time. And he's not. So that's, I think, the disconnect from the front office. And we can't help that. Like, to me, I'm not going to get mad at Dak because they're retarded about it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get mad at Dak when he doesn't.
It's not like Dak is out here saying this stuff or anything.
Yeah, I mean, look, when...
You got my point.
When Dak Prescott throws a bad pass, an interception, makes a dumb decision, we all yell at him, we all get mad and whatever it may be. But when the defense don't tackle, when the defense misses, doesn't get any pressure on the quarterback, when the offensive line has issues, when Mike McCarthy's having fumbling, doesn't know where he's at half the time. Now we have a running game that's missing. Now we have two holes on the offensive line. Now we have, we have to hope Jalen Tolbert steps up as that number 3. And I don't have a problem with that, but my point is, that's where we're at with this team, and it's going to hurt the scheme of McCarthy with no real running back right now. It's going to hurt no offensive line right now. We know we're going to go to the draft. But right now, we have a lot of holes, and all it's going to do is we went from a team that needed like another piece or a better coach in this area or in that area. We needed one little thing to maybe be able to turn the table, and maybe with Dak Prescott at quarterback, with all the help that he needs, would be able to lead this team to a Super Bowl or to a chance to go deeper into the playoffs. But the way we're setting him up is to fail. And it's a shame because I still think if we're going to keep these guys around, then we're just wasting their careers and taking a dive this year, it feels like. Or, there's more moves to come. I don't know what to say. I really hope there's more moves to come. Mark, appreciate you. And I just threw out those numbers on Dak. And not on Dak, but on the defense. When we lost these games, because the defense, in some ways, you can say the defense had a bigger role to the reason why we lost our last 3 years of playoff games than on Dak Prescott. That's all. So, even though throughout the season, maybe except for last season, Dak was better than our defense. But the 2 years before that, our defense was the team, and it was better than Dak Prescott. Yet, the defense never came through in these playoff games. So, in a way, you could say Dak has issue against good teams in the playoffs, but you can say even more so that our defense has issues with good offenses in the playoffs. That's the issue. That's a bigger issue. They're all issues. Dak, the defense, the coaching, the this, the that, the replacing the players you have, the lack of replacement. All this is the issue. That's the front office, the main issue. But in the end, there's so many other things that I just think that you have to look at Dak Prescott as a top 7 to 10 quarterback in the NFL. And you just don't draft. Those guys come out maybe 10 times a decade. You get a top 10 quarterback 10 times in a decade. That's why there's 10. So I'm just saying, like, Dak would be one of those 10. That's all I'm saying. It's hard to get another guy and say, he'll do it for us, unless we pay him, a rookie contract like we did with Dak, and then we decided not to use that money. See, we'll have another rookie and then not use that money, and then the Joneses will blame Dak because of the money rolled forward, which is complete and utter bullshit, like we said. So anyways, moving on. Dak Prescott, if you guys are watching some of the shorts that we posted, he's back in the workouts, doing workouts, throwing the ball. And I really love who he was throwing to. Jalen Tolbert.
Oh.
Which is a major, major need here. Because he's our number 3. And he has to get back in the mix and connect with Dak. Dak's going to see him a lot this year. So Jalen Tolbert got to be ready. He took a big jump last year. Probably got Jalen Brooks as number 4 and come out to Turpin as a number 5.
And with the moves the Cowboys have made or haven't made so far, we can already see the expectations that are put upon him and what the Cowboys are hoping to get out of his production this upcoming season.
Yeah, so they're obviously putting, and again, with him practicing with Dak right now, that seems to be like, the connection has to develop there. So that's happening. Now, by the way, Dak grinding out there, but so are other guys grinding. Like Deuce Vaughn, little man Deuce. He was working on his route running. There's a little short I posted as well.
Good for him.
On Deuce Vaughn and him going out for routes, catching the ball on routes. I think that's something the Cowboys lacked last year when it came to we misused Vaughn. Not that he would have been great, but we didn't use him nearly enough in open space. We didn't use him nearly enough in the passing game. So, yeah, Vaughn. I mean, listen, I'm not saying he's the next guy up. Obviously, I think he's still on the way down the list. But he could be if we don't draft a receiving running back or something like this. Or Vaughn could be our next kind of like pass-catching running back out of the backfield. So, to me, that you don't know what you're going to see in the usage of Deuce Vaughn yet. But in a very small sample size for Deuce Vaughn, he only had 7 targets. But he was 5th amongst all rookie running backs last year with a PFF receiving grade of 76.0. So what they're trying to say is the analytics look good for Deuce Vaughn to catch the ball and run with it. That's a good sign if we do that. He was the 5th best rookie catching the ball last year. Again, very limited, amount of targets. So we have to wait and see what happens there. But he's grinding, trying to be more of a receiver out of the backfield. Yeah. It seems like now. Terrence, that's important to note because the Cowboys may use him as a third down scat back receiver. Keep that in mind, guys. So, offensive line. We have some holes, some issues going on there. Terrence Steele, who has some injury issues, last year injured, came back from the injury, did not look that as good as he used to be. And, he needs to put in that work, right? He is also not just Dak, not just Deuce, but Terrence Steele is grinding out there. Getting some right tackle work along with Brock Hoffman, who right now is our starting center. Brock Hoffman out there working with Terrence Steele. Is that a hint to maybe what's going to happen on the offensive line? Now, here's the interesting thing too, guys. Brock Hoffman, number 67, who played center for us last year, undrafted. Right now, he's our starting center. He was playing, when he was not playing, he was practicing, he was working out with Terrence Steele, but he was doing the guard and center spots. So he's looking at guard and center, kind of be versatile. TJ Bass is only a guard. So Cowboys, are going to get a Brock Hoffman that maybe is going to be a little more versatile, play a little guard and center, in training camp or whatever it may be. So just saying, in these little workout videos, you get little hints of maybe what these guys are working on and maybe what they're heading to into this 2024 season. Now, when you talk about offensive line, you got to talk about Tyler Smith, guys. Tyler Smith, as you can see on our front cover, he is the main topic of today. You see in our title, all right? For anybody who is, if you go back to the 2022 draft, when we picked this guy, this man right here, out of college, and as by the way, pick number 24, which is our pick this year. When we picked them, guys, we were kind of like, what the hell's going on? Like, we were unsure, right? Like, it felt like the Cowboys were the only team interested. But the Tennessee Titans today admitted on a podcast that they would have drafted Tyler Smith literally 2 picks after us. So the Cowboys, he would not have lasted out of the first round, and he would not have lasted if the Cowboys would have traded down. So,
well, then I guess that was a Goldilocks situation because it was just right for us to be able to draft.
That was a good job from Will McClay. Now, I also want to say this about Tyler Smith. He was on the 8th Round podcast. He was also on there with, guess who? Brock Hoffman. So Hoffman's over there working with Terrence Steele. Brock Hoffman is working with Tyler Smith, or at least doing interviews with him. And it was an interesting comment he made, Tyler Smith, which kind of made the headlines. That's why I have this. Where is he going to play? What's his options this year? Guard or tackle? How does he feel about it? Because he said he'll play anywhere. He's always said that. But, I've always said he looked better at guard than tackle. I think he's an elite guard, and he's an excellent tackle, but he's an elite guard. So that was my interest. That was my kind of thought on this. He was asked on this podcast a fan question about his preference to play tackle or to play guard this season. And you'll hear his answer here, baby. I think you have his quote. But his willingness to play wherever he's told to play, to me, speaks volumes of his character and the way that he doesn't care where you put him. He's gonna dominate. What did he say about where he likes to play on the offensive line?
He said, quote, "I'm coming off of a really good year at guard. I'm feeling really comfortable at guard. I kind of like how the continuity is right now. Like you already preface this, I'm willing to do whatever it takes, y'all, and I'm able to do whatever it takes. So we'll see what the future holds, Obviously, stay ready for anything, but for right now, I'm the starting left guard of the Dallas Cowboys, y'all."
So, again, he's comfortable there. That is his elite position. Doesn't mean he can't play tackle.
Yeah.
He's one of the top tackles But he is a better guard than a tackle. And so he wants to stay at guard, and I don't blame him. So to me, guys, you want to keep him in his best position. And so I look at what the Cowboys could do. Now, look, if we don't draft a tackle and we keep Tyler Smith at guard, who plays left tackle? Right now, it'd be like Chuma Edoga or Matt Waletzko or Awesome Richards. That's it. Those are 3 tackles we got on this team, barely. So we are really weak on tackles. I mean, at guards, Brock Hopper's working at guard. We got TJ Bass. Of course, Zach Martin. Chuma can go in there and play a little bit of guard if he needed to. So I think we got to change our thoughts when it comes to this draft. And we got to look at, double dip possibilities on the offensive line side of things. Now, this will be a double dip very late, maybe even undrafted.
Yeah, I know we mentioned it just, earlier, I think this week or maybe last week.
Yeah, we have a possibility of double dipping, but we're going to talk about a little bit more about that now. But let me explain something first. So I got to paint the picture for you guys when it comes to I'm going to leave Tyler Smith up there because it's about our offensive line. And we're at the last part of things. So if you want to get your last drops or thoughts in, here's your chance. So the Cowboys are officially interested in 2 guys that are part of the University of British Columbia. Now, we know one of them. We already spoke about him, Giovanni Manu, who's like 6'9" or 6'7", 352 of just pure muscle. He's like Tyron Smith but bigger. So, but he's very raw right now in a small school, British Columbia. Not even in America. I'm saying he had a lot of holding calls at tackle. So he's got a long way to learn. It's not anything. He has the skill set, the size, all the measurements, the intangibles for the measurements, but we don't know how he's going to play. Can he be developed into a top offensive lineman? So that's one of the guys that the Cowboys have taken in and had a 30 visit with. But the Cowboys are saying they're also looking at Theo Benedict, a name to keep in mind, guys. So Giovanni Manu and Theo Benedict, both from the University of British Columbia. Cowboys are interested in both of these guys. And these guys who had their pro day are turning heads. A lot of teams in this draft. The Cowboys are one of the several teams that have both these guys on their radar. Will McClay is going to get one of these guys. If they go undrafted, you guarantee you that Manu or Benedict will be on this Cowboy team. Now, I got to say also, the Colts, they're after these guys as well. They recently hosted Theo Benedict. All right, the offensive tackle for the University of British Columbia, the other offensive tackle. So they have 2 guys there, offensive tackle, and the Cowboys are interested in both guys as a late round prospect or undrafted prospect. So Colts are looking at them. Other teams are looking at these guys. The Cowboys are also looking at these kind of like bargain basement, developmental kind of either draft or undraft, like late round, 7th round guys or undrafted guys for the offensive line. So again, good to know at least that the Cowboys are looking, very deeply at the offensive tackle spot, specifically, even late in the draft. But as we continue this here, baby, and let me actually move it to the draft, kind of the draft thoughts and talks and stuff here as we're finishing it up. But you look at our visits, you see our draft, and you see the round where a lot of these guys are projected to go.
Yep.
So for this draft, guys, coming around the corner, there are 13 players that have so far confirmed to attend the actual NFL draft in person. And usually you hear these names, they're all going to be drafted in the first round, but not always. So Terrion Arnold, the cornerback from Alabama, Jaden Daniels, quarterback from LSU, Marvin Harrison Jr., wide receiver from Ohio State, J.C. Latham, offensive lineman from Alabama, Latu, defensive lineman from UCLA, which is a hot name in Dallas for this guy, Drake May, quarterback from North Carolina, Quentin Mitchell, cornerback from Toledo, Malik Neighbors, we heard about him, probably the best receiver in this group, in this draft from LSU, Romy Oduze, which is an interesting name, Romy Oduze, receiver from Washington, Darius Robinson, defensive lineman from Missouri, Brian Thomas Jr., wide receiver from LSU, Dallas Turner, linebacker from Alabama, and of course, Caleb Williams, quarterback from USC. So that's the Cowboys. Oh, let me do this here real quick. And I should have called them out. I should have shouted them out earlier. But much love to the man, Stanley Smith. Yes, he's not one of the people attending this one. But Stanley Smith, much love to him in the house. Yes, he is. He has just dropped a $10 holler.
Woo.
And a huge Go Cowboys.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you for that Cooper Rush representation there on the Cash App side of things. Always much appreciated. And since we have been live here for a little while and we are on technically the last topic of the stream before we continue on with the rest of this, let me remind everybody to hit like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. You guys can follow us anywhere and everywhere at MyCowboysFamily. And of course, hop in the Discord. Link for that's in the description box down below. Let me go ahead and read a handful of your comments here while Mr. MCF adjusts the leaderboard there. Chalk to Montana 808 said the best receiver in this draft is Marvin Harrison Jr. Period.
Again, I'm not here to battle on that because the Cowboys should not be going for any wide receivers in this draft. And by the way, Neighbors and Harrison Jr. will both be off this board by the time the Cowboys draft.
So, let me see. Scorpio said, looks like we're targeting running back in the 3rd round. Let me see. No, just rolling back here. Madman, much love to you. Oh, by the way, hold on. Rodriguez said, MCF, I remember you destroyed the pick on your live stream. The draft is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. And I think he's talking about the Tyler Smith? Just based on the timing of it, but maybe it's somebody else. So let me know.
I destroyed it. Destroyed it as a good thing or a bad thing? I'm not sure.
Not sure. I think he means destroyed as in like bad. Like you obviously maybe didn't feel good about the pick, and it ended up working out. So.
Well, I do remember. The one thing I remember about Tyler Smith is that if we keep him in guard, I was happy. If we move him to tackle, I was not happy with all the penalties. But I gotta be honest. Who said that, by the way?
That was Rolando Rodriguez.
Orlando. Let's be real though. No one predicted that. 99.9% of everybody, fans and analysts, were like, that's a high draft. That's a high draft for someone like Tyler Smith, who has all these penalties and is not really on the map for most teams. So it wasn't just me, if that's what he meant. It was everybody out there, right? It was everybody like what, scratching their heads, like what's going on here? Trust me, only the Cowboys and the Titans were the only ones interested. It seems like in Tyler Smith in the 1st round. So fair to be surprised, I guess you can say by that. Yeah. But I still think, I even remember saying it, keep him at guard. Do not put him at tackle. I think he'll be better. And he is better inside than outside. But nobody could predict how good he was going to be at tackle and, of course, how great he is, elite, at guard. So, yeah. Anyways, I updated the board. And let me just finish here. I give you the name of the people, the players. I think guys like Darius Robinson from Missouri. He's a guy that's been projected to the Cowboys to be there in the 20-something pick. So, not saying I want the Cowboys to go that route, but my point is some of these guys, there's 13 guys, but some of these guys are like, of course, early 1st round. Some of these guys are middle 1st round, late 1st round. Some even will be in the 2nd round, probably in this list, and we'll see if anybody else decides to jump in this thing. But I do want to talk about one of the guys that we have on our list here. You see him there, number 66 in round 2. Again, this is CBS Sports putting their numbers out. But that's Jonathan Brooks from Texas Longhorn running back. We know about that unfortunate issue he has in his knee, the ACL tear. But according to all sources, Texas running back Jonathan Brooks got good marks at the Scouting Combine medical recheck and still remains on track to potentially be the first running back selected in the 2024 draft.
Which is kind of crazy in a way.
So, it's the thing with him is that, again, with him being healthy, he probably would have been the number 1 running back picked, probably easily in the 2nd round. Now, there's a question, 2nd round, 3rd round, is he going to be the first guy? According to all sources, he's still looked upon as the number 1 running back in this draft. But still, I really, really hope the Cowboys do not draft a guy who's already injured. And we don't know how he's going to bounce back from that, especially after Terrence Steele's lack of bounce back and Michael Gallup's really lack of bounce back off the injury. So I would not start off a running back, with an injury. That's stupid to me. So me personally, I've said this before, Trey Benson from Florida State. That's the guy I'm kind of more in favor of, who I think we should probably go at and maybe go grab him. He's ranked here 99 on CBS Sports Board here. So, running backs, of course, is a position we need. Somebody was saying about the way things are looking when it comes to the way the Cowboys are going to draft, and the way I think the first 3 rounds are going to be. I'm going to give you this is the best mock kind of draft. I'm not going to give you the whole mock draft, but this is kind of the best mock guide, I guess I can think about when it comes to the way the Cowboys should use their draft picks and what they should do with this. I think in round 1, the number one thing we should do, unless some guy falls to us incredibly, trade the pick. Trade back. Trade the pick back.
I know we mentioned it not that long ago on one of our other streams recently.
Yeah, I mean,
as far as trading back in that, for that.
Yeah. I mean, the reason it looks more and more like that is because of the reasons I mentioned the last couple of times. There's the Bills that need a receiver, the Ravens, the Chiefs. They would love a receiver, and there's a lot of teams behind the Cowboys that would love to get a top receiver. Cowboys not going to get a top receiver, so if there's any top receivers around, that's trade bait. There's also the thing about I said the other day about using the that word coming out from Adam Schefter that Cowboys are maybe a sneaky pick for quarterback. I think that's just bullshit just to try to get a team that maybe wants a quarterback. If a good quarterback trickled down to 24, that someone might trade up for. Because, the Cowboys might want to get a quarterback here. Maybe they'll trade with us. So trading down would be my... Unless the best tackle falls down or that, something crazy happens. But if the best guy in the world isn't falling down to us, I would trade down. And there's going to be a couple of suitors available. It's just a matter of, do you want to trade down? Do you want to take a chance on maybe missing on one of the guys you really love? Or you want to get one of the guys, you have a choice of 2 guys that you really love. That's the way I look at it. Just like, you're still going to get a good player at 31 or 32. So, if we don't trade down, we should probably draft the best center available. And baby, I said this the other day to you, that you said tackle. But I said center because you're going to get the 7th best tackle in the draft. And you're going to get the best center in the draft if you pick center.
And I admit it. I'm like, that is a fair evaluation there. That's something to consider, especially after, remember, throw it back 15, 20 minutes ago, and I just mentioned Tyler Smith's own comment about him wanting to stay at guard, him feeling the best about staying at guard. Right?
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, though. Well, that's my whole point here. We still need a center as well. So it changes the positions that we're looking at because, in the previous assumption where let's say he was going to be tackle, now we need a guard/center. Right now we need a center/tackle.
Yeah, but they don't come like that though. I'm just saying,
you
need both.
Player.
I know.
I'm talking the positions we need.
And I'm trying to say is that I want to make sure we reiterate this about Tyler Smith's comments. He did say he wants to play guard. It doesn't mean he's going to do that.
I didn't say that either. I'm talking about what he said.
Right. He said right now I'm the Cowboys guard, but we know that can change as soon as OTAs hit. In the middle of May, he may be playing left tackle most of the time.
Yeah, that's what the Cowboys wanted to play.
That's if the Cowboys the Cowboys will probably do that. If we don't draft an offensive tackle in the first round, you will see probably Tyler Smith playing left tackle. But I do want to reiterate that for the 18th time, I want to say this: I'd rather grab JPJ or Graham Barton, who can play guard and tackle. Listen, Graham Barton from Duke, who's a center. He also plays guard, but you know where else he plays? Tackle. Yeah. He plays all those spots. So, to me, that's almost like I think the Cowboys would love to go back a couple spots and draft Graham Barton. To me, that's the guy. So, if you want to get the best center, JPJ, you can get him at 24 probably. So I still trade down. You get one of those 2 guys, and you get yourself a 3rd rounder, maybe a 4th rounder, but you need to get a 4th rounder, in my opinion. So look. Trading down and then getting the best center available is what I would do. Okay? And that means you're getting JPJ or Graham Barton. And you're getting an extra draft pick. Can't lose on that. The second round, listen, here's what I'm trying to... This is why I say double dipping. Because if we get that center in that first round, there's a chance. There's this guy named Blake Fisher. He's not here. I mean, you see the guy there, Kingsley Sulamalu. He's a guy the Cowboys really like. He'll probably be gone by the time the Cowboys draft. If he's there, the Cowboys will draft this tackle.
Okay.
That guy right there. But I'm looking at another name here, Blake Fisher from Notre Dame, who the Cowboys are they're not bringing in for the 30 visit, but they are eyeballing him. That's a guy who may be available in that second round.
Okay. In
the third round, the best running back available. No, you don't get Jonathan Brooks in the second round because he's the best one. You go to the third round, and when you get that end of the third round pick, you get the best running back available. To me, it very well could be Trey Benson from Florida State because he's the guy, to me, is the overall best running back in this draft, in my opinion. Jason Renfro, in my opinion, just dropped a dollar holler and said,
yes, he did.
Hold up. What did the man say with that dollar drop?
Oh, thank you so much. I think he said go Cowboys.
Oh, hell to the yeah.
I know he said go Cowboys. Thank you, Jason. I appreciate you, of course. Much love. Sorry, we had a good chunk of little comments here coming all at once. So, first of all, going back, Rolando Rodriguez said, just saying, watch your chat, live during the draft. No one knows how the draft picks are going to go. Just like, Taco, was going to be, was watching your live stream on draft dates.
Yeah, I mean, listen, anything can happen, right? But I'm just, that's, and Rolando, that's why I don't do a lot of mock drafts anymore. I used to do them a little more, but man, we just did so many. We basically end up drafting every player, and then you just go in circles. I want to know what we're getting. I want to know who all the other teams are going to get. Because that's what we end up doing. We know every player from every other team. And now, of course, our own. But all those mock drafts are wasted. Who cares? But I'm just giving you a general. We will do a mock draft before the probably a week before or something, the draft. We'll do a mock draft, kind of just one, and just give you our results, and then we'll talk about it. But trading down, getting the best center available. That's move one. In round 2, get an offensive tackle like Blake Fisher or... And I'm trying to say his name, Kingsley Sumataman. I can't even say his name. Maybe you can read it if you turn it sideways. But
let me see.
Yeah, I can't read his name from my perspective here. Here he is. Kingsley Suamataya. 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 I have a problem with the two names. I'm sorry.
You do.
Jason Renfro, another $2. Jay Lou, holla.
Thank you, Jason.
Much love to him. And a go Cowboys, as you know. He's back up to Jason Witten, 82 points on the Stream Boss. So, I don't know. What do you think about I don't want any details. I'm just saying, just a general mindset. You trade down. You get the best center available by trading down. Then you get the best remaining tackle available in the second round, which is still viable. And then you get the best running back in the third round. That seems to be... I know we're skipping linebacker, but I think offensive line is more important.
Again, I could see the Cowboys still doing that in the sense that it still feels like it fits our... not scheme, but our MO when it comes to the way that we handle draft stuff. So, and again... double dipping at O-line is probably one of the few things that I am 100% in agreement with when it comes to one of the possibilities of this draft, just because of all the holes on the O-line and with the quality of offensive linemen this year. It just feels like you can't really miss if you decide to invest in that. But you guys are kind of saying it, and I know Scorpio said it earlier, saying that he's kind of pissed off at the lack of basically anything from the Cowboys as far as defensive tackles. Let me see. I saw,
I agree.
But
that's not a surprise. I mean, it's a little bit of a surprise we didn't even bother with Hankins, but I do agree.
Someone else I know mentioned, we still now have to figure out the linebacker situation. Kind of interesting that, the Cowboys seem to be, of course, really favoring the offense without us hearing much on any defense.
I mean, those first 3 picks, you're hearing offensive line, running back. But here's the thing I want to say about this. A couple mentions. Mm-hmm. So on defensive line, we're not going to draft a guy to kind of go in there. What we're going to do is we're going to wait till after the draft to pick up the remaining nose tackle out there, so it does not cost compensation. I was thinking, speaking of compensation, I'm hearing Michael Gallup, being gone, and Tyler Boyd floating around, maybe going to the NFC East somewhere. Not to us, but other teams. A lot of people say we should try to pick up Tyler Boyd and, replace Michael Gallup with him. But that kind of got me thinking, did Michael Gallup sign with anybody?
No, right?
Yeah, he hasn't signed yet, right? Guys, let me know if he signed. I don't think Gallup signed with anybody, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
I mean,
as far as I know, I haven't heard anything.
And the reason I'm asking this question, or I'm saying this, is because we're going to lose a compensation pick on this. So Michael Gallup looks like he's still released. He's not picked up by anybody. But the reason I say this is that if he gets signed to a very small contract and doesn't get a lot of playing time, we get nothing really back from Michael. Maybe a 7th round pick, which is like an undrafted player, when it comes to the comp picks. So Michael Gallup right now, not being signed, actually hurts the Cowboys and Stephen Jones' feelings when it comes to not getting a compensatory pick.
I mean, I understand, though. There's a reason we're trying to move on from him in the first place.
And no one else is interested.
Simus. Shout out to you. He said, no, Gallup has not signed.
You got much love, Simon. Says in the house. Hope you're rehabbing it back, getting there, brother. Appreciate him. He's an OG here on YouTube. And he started a lot of trends that people still talk about today, and don't give him the credit. Much love to Simus. Gallup hasn't signed. So Jerry and Steven ain't getting that comp pick that they dream about at night, every single night of the fucking week. So that hurts the Cowboys in getting those comp picks they always talk about, right? So what are the Cowboys got to do? Well, here's one thing. How about the Cowboys? You see in the 4th round, we have no fucking 4th round pick. This is why I want to trade back. Now, I know me just saying this means nothing. The Cowboys going to do what the fuck they want to do. But the Cowboys trading back opens up another 3rd rounder or a 4th. It depends how, if you go back one spot, you probably get a 4th rounder just on that. So, and that's maybe at the minute, maybe you get a 3rd rounder on that. But my point here is the Cowboys need to somehow find another pick. At the very least, 4th round or earlier. We need one more pick. We got the 1st, 2nd, 3rd. We need a 4th or another 3rd or another 2nd, whatever it is. Because since 2016, and I say this more as a 4th round pick, it feels like Will McClay is allowed to take over on the 4th round. Because here's what I'm saying. Who have we drafted since 2016 in the 4th round? An all-pro quarterback named Dak Prescott. A Pro Bowl running back named Tony Pollard. Pro Bowl tight end named Dalton Schultz. Pro Bowl center named Tyler Biadasz. And remember, Schultz and Dorrance Armstrong was also a defensive lineman who got signed in the 4th round. Both guys got big contracts. The bottom line for my mind is that the Cowboys always do well in the 4th round. It's like that first day 3 pick, Cowboys somehow do a good job with Will McClay and crew. So, again, 4th rounder and adding another top 100 pick, or at the very least, like I said, a 4th rounder, that should be right there in Will McClay's wheelhouse. Now, I got to give big props to John Owning for doing a mock draft that I personally would love to see something similar to this. Because a lot of people are saying out there, all these analysts, you know what the hardest team to do a mock draft for nowadays, this year? Is the Cowboys. And the reason is because we need new starters, left tackle or left guard, depending on Tyler Smith, center, running back. We just got Rico Dowell right now. Linebacker, which again, we know it's Eric Kendricks. We know Mike will play on 3rd down in the A-gap linebacker blitz, but we need a little more depth there. And of course, you know, when you look at like Marquise Bell going back to safety, you got an Overshown coming up. But do we really have enough depth there? That's a great issue we have. Lack of depth as well at receiver after Tolbert. Jalen Brooks, is that our rookie receiver this year? Jalen Brooks from last year? Is he going to be our rookie guy? I think he's the step-up guy that the Joneses want to see happen. Remember, 7th round pick last year. And the big one, which you guys have been saying, that defensive line, especially, not just edge rusher depth, but we need something on that defensive interior, 0 tech, 1 tech, 2 tech, and even behind Osa at 3 tech. So we need a bunch of guys, a veteran guy. Now, I don't think we're going to go drafting them. We might draft one guy in the 5th or 6th round, but we need to get a veteran interior defensive lineman. And I believe that someone like Isaiah Buggs, who I like, he does the job. You don't get the stats. He does the job you need. That's what I need, a guy who takes on double teams and keeps the linebackers clean. We do that, we stop the run so much better. Just like that. That's all we need. The Cowboys are sitting on their hands on this shit. So we get one of those guys, and then we throw in there some guy in the 5th or 6th round. That's good enough for me. All right? So again, the problem with the Cowboys and mocking them is we don't have much depth on this roster. And some starters missing too, right? A lot of pressure in Dallas to find multiple early contributors from this draft class. And you've said this before. Cowboys got to hit this one harder than they ever hit it. Last year we whiffed. This year we got a hit because we got nobody we picked up. So all the pressure is on Dak, on McCarthy, on the whole offense, on the defense. Starting new with Zimmer, but McCarthy's scheme. Everybody's got the pressure going on, and Will McClay, major pressure. He's got to make magic from the shit that the Joneses give him. So let me just give you a quick final thing here. To me, this is the best mock draft that I've seen so far.
Okay.
It implements everything we just talked about. Trading back in the first round. So trading back in the first round from the 30th pick. I'm sorry, from the 24th pick, and go back to the 30th pick of the draft. All right? So it would be like giving up our 24th pick to the Ravens, because they want one of those receivers. And in this mock, we gave up our 24th pick in the first round. They give us their 30th pick, along with a round 3 93rd pick and a round 4 113th pick. So this implements an extra pick in the top 100 and an extra 4th round pick. Just going back 6 spots. More or less, this fits the Jimmy Johnson scale of trading. And we talked about that in the past. So, guys, can we pull something like that off? I mean, it could be that, or it could have been just a second rounder. The Cowboys, let's say in this sense, went with a 3rd and 4th rather than just 1 second. What did the draft produce? The 30th pick of the draft in this trade down, we got Jackson Powers-Johnson, the best center in the league, the best center in the draft. Graham Barton, probably the best center that has the versatility ability. But Jackson Powers-Johnson, center from Oregon, that's the best. That's basically the best center in the league. And we have to get him at 30. We don't have to get him at 24. We can probably grab him at 30. And if he's not there, you grab Graham Barton from Duke. Boom. We got one of the best centers in this draft. So, and I keep going down the list. Let's keep going down. Second round. You know who's available in the second round? At pick 56. It's the Notre Dame tackle I've been talking about, Blake Fisher. So, Blake Fisher is someone who's projected to be around there into the early 3rd round. So the Cowboys, in this sense, we would take him a little early because we need a tackle, and he would be one of the last viable tackles that can start, middle or end of the second round. That is it. You can't go any farther. You're done. So Blake Fisher, that's a double dip on the offensive line. You go in center, then you go in tackle, a guy who can start. So, 1-2 punch on the offensive line. Let's stay with that same mindset of that running back in the 3rd round. Because remember, we have 2 picks in the 3rd round now with the trade back. So what does that do for you? Well, it opens up a lot of options. Cowboys go Trey Benson in the 3rd round with let's say the pick 87 that we traded for. I'm sorry, that would be our main pick. So we would get someone like Trey Benson at 87 in the 3rd round. From Florida State, which to me is exactly where I would draft him at. He's not going to be there in the 4th round. Even with the 4th round pick for us, I would take Trey Benson, talent-wise, as running back, probably the 2nd best guy, but to me, the 1st best guy when you look at health. So this would be a dream draft, and this would go to the whole thing of trading down, getting the best center, second in the 1st round, in the 2nd round, getting the best tackle remaining, Blake Fisher, 3rd round, getting the best running back, Trey Benson. So, the 1, 2, 3 right there. But then you by trading back, you can pick up a wide receiver from Virginia like Malik Washington at the end of the 3rd round, who has shown out in the Senior Bowl, and not the Senior Bowl, but the Shrine Bowl. Also, if you have the extra 3rd rounder and an extra 4th rounder, you can get a receiver like Malik Washington, and you get an interior defensive lineman like a nose tackle, 1-tech, 2-tech kind of guy from Texas A&M. Named McKinley Jackson, who you can say is a little early of a pick, but then the Cowboys don't really have a pick for like 50 fucking picks. So you got to kind of make your interior defensive pick right there. Now, I know you're saying where's linebackers at? You can go a linebacker in the 5th round, but you can pick someone up like a safety that will help the Zimmer kind of defense. We have a lot of safeties. Someone like from Auburn, Jalen Simpson. Solid pick at 174. At 216 in the 6th round. And I wouldn't even mind if we went a little earlier. Where's Jason Renfro at? Because Jalen Ford from Texas. would be the pick there in the 6th round. That would be it's a very accurate pick, I would say, to where he's placed. So to me, Jalen Ford, a linebacker, to come in there and kind of help. He'll be behind the Marin Overshone, who, by the way, they played together in college. So, it would be a good learning spot for a guy getting picked in the 6th round. And then in the final 2 rounds is basically undrafteds. But, hey, I still like Rasheen Ali. Throw in there a pass-catching running back, a speedy, smaller guy, not a bigger guy like Trey Benson. So we go double dip, not just at offensive line, we double dip at running back here, which makes someone like Deuce Vaughn a little more expendable. Possibly. It makes it a battle between Rasheen Ali and Deuce Vaughn. And then you go anything that you want there at the last 244, pick, 245, tight ends. You go, the receiver. You can go cornerback. I don't know. But this guy's basically undrafted. So, let me know what you guys think about, to me, this would be a very big win for the Cowboys in the draft if we were able to get the top center. One of the top tackles left in the 2nd round. One of the top running backs, without question, in the 3rd round. And then because of the trade down, have accessibility to one of the very interesting receivers of this draft, an interior defensive lineman from Texas A&M. You can get a Jalen Ford in the 5th or 6th round, and you got yourself a really solid crop of rookies that most should produce something. Plus, of course, the undrafteds. And that's why I mentioned Manu as a guy, Giovanni Manu, who's a guy the Cowboys can take in the 7th round. That's why I said that pick 245 could very well be Giovanni Manu, who's a flyer pick. You just want to make sure nobody else is taking him. You don't have to fight any other teams for to sign him as an undrafted, and you just draft him in the 7th round with our 2 7th-round picks. Giovanni Bernard, the other guy, Benedict. Both these guys, Manu and Benedict, are guys that are big guys from untapped potential, but again, need a lot of development. That's why they're 7th rounders. So, would that make you guys smile? I mean, if I get you Jackson Powers Johnson, Blake Fisher, we solidify center and tackle. We get a running back starter in Trey Benson and a little change of pace guy in Rasheen Ali. You can get in there a receiver, a very good receiver like Malik Washington, who personally I love the play. I have videos of him out there, guys, making unbelievable catches. He's a high point guy. I would love this guy in the team, especially at the end of the 3rd round. Defensive tackle inside there to add with Mozzie Smith. Jalen Ford, a linebacker from Texas. You add in there behind, some depth at linebacker. And then you bring in an offensive tackle that you roll the dice with in the 7th round. Giovanni Manu or Benedict. You get these guys in there, and this is a home run potential draft for the Cowboys, in my opinion. What do you guys think? I don't know if you know, maybe what your thoughts, but I want to know what the family thinks.
Hold on, Rodriguez said MCF. The Cowboys haven't signed any free agents, and you want them to trade back, for best player available. So,
if you get the same guy at 24 and 30, wouldn't you trade back? It doesn't mean anything. Staying at 24 to pick a guy you get at 30 is stupid, right? And there's 3 teams that would probably want to jump in front of us, whether it's the Bills, the Ravens, or the Chiefs. That's music to my ears. Sorry, guys, but I am down with that. I'm down with going back a couple spots to get the same fucking guy.
So, rolling back here, Seabass said, MCF, if the Cowboys get even 1 or 2 players off your board, how are you feeling? They never take guys off our. Usually, we did say Mozzie Smith from the beginning. That was a name we had talked about for a while. And they do get a couple guys off the board, but sometimes when these guys are remaining, or like this Osiris Torrance, pick them up, and then they go with Luke Schoonmaker. You just never know. It's not about my board. I haven't really studied these guys even enough. I'm going to be honest. I'm not going to lie to you guys. But when it comes to these top, I know the positions we all need. And I just want to get the best guys at those positions in the rounds that match. We don't have to get a running back in the 1st round to make him the best running back in the draft. We need a hit when it's hot, which is that 3rd round spot for the running backs. So we just got to pick our guy at the right spot. Center first, you got the best center. And you could get one of the, a solid tackle that you can build on in the 2nd round. So Stephen White throwing out there, linebacker is deep, late round talent. The Zero Tech also has some late round talent. So again, for those of you guys, who are kind of saying like, oh, but what about linebackers? What about the, D line? There you go.
That's what I'm saying. You look at round 5, the 173rd pick there, and you can get maybe McKinley Jackson, the depth defensive tackle that you're asking for. And then you can get with that, maybe that 216th pick, you get the depth linebacker Jalen Ford. So that's what I'm talking about. Those two guys, you get them in that 5th, 6th round area, right? So we're kind of good there. We're going to go 1st, 2nd, 3rd. It sounds maybe offense. You go defense, 5th and 6th. And then 7th round, you just go. I went with running back and as a flyer there, and Manu as an offensive tackle for British Columbia. And then we just go with that and go into the undrafteds, which we do great in. Always a couple guys we keep on this team from the undrafteds. So that would be at least in my mind, a very good. I'll say a very good draft potential. We don't know how this is going to happen until it hits the field. How do our coaches develop these guys, et cetera, et cetera. But injuries. So a lot of things can come in and hurt and change things, but that would be, at least for draft-wise, I would be happy covering those positions with some of these players I discussed today.
So, let me keep rolling here. Madman said, I would like Dallas to trade both of their 7th-round picks for another 6th-round pick.
It'd be nice. That's not going to happen. It won't happen. Again, no team's going to trade away their 6th-rounder, which has viability, for 2 guys that are basically the last 2 picks, 10 away from the last pick of the draft. That's an undrafted player. No one's going to pick. I'm not going to take 2 undrafted players for 1 drafted player a whole round earlier. So that's a pipe dream. That's not going to happen. Just letting you know.
And Matt Persico, much love, Larry, said that's so right. And by the way, in case you didn't know, Larry is Mr. Right.
Hey, Mr. Right in the house.
Oh, so
that's all right.
Let me keep reading some of your comments, and guys, do the final shout-outs here as well. So if you are here, perfect chance to say hello, hi, and bye as we start to wrap things up. Take a second to hit like, subscribe, hit the bell, follow us anywhere and everywhere at MyCowboysFamily. Hop in the Discord, link for that's in the description box down below. An extra special shout-out to the sponsor of the week and the Cash App King, Harley Dad. Thank you so much, of course, representing. And if you look over there, Jason Renfro is the stream boss, bossing that stream around with 82 points on the board.
You forgot the gifting champion, baby.
I did.
Back-to-back skeptical fan. No? Oh, okay.
And I didn't forget.
No, I'm sorry. So back-to-back champion skeptical fan as well, repping that board with Jason Renfro. Harley Dad got the whole thing, Cash App, and the sponsor of the week. But who's in the lead? Jason Renfro's got a 4-1 lead over Skeptical Fan on the gifting membership side. When you look at the Cash App side and the overall board side, it is none other than the man, McLovin, who's been really rocking the board for about one of these 2 boards, Cash App or the Cash App King or the Sponsor of the Week. He's been rocking that spot for at least 6 out of the last 8 weeks, on and off, different spots, sometimes both. Much love to the man, McLovin, who is leading both the overall board for that Sponsor of the Week. We got one night left, probably that's Sunday. And he's also leading the Cash App side of things right now. Much love to McLovin and everybody else in the house repping here on My Cowboys Family.
So, let me see here. Let me start rolling and doing some of the shout-outs here. Jason Renfro, much love.
Yeah.
Ronaldo Rodriguez in the house. Stephen White, have a great night. Brandon James, thanks for being here. The man himself, Seabass, and I agree. Jerry is not the greatest GM.
By the way, I wanted to say Jason Renfro, Sweat is he's going to be like a 4th or 5th round drop for him. So getting Sweat's not. But Byron Murphy is not going to be around past 15. I'm talking about overall 15. So we're not getting Byron Murphy. He's off the board, and Tavondre Sweat is going to be the only guy available. Like you guys said, you want to take a chance on a defensive tackle. Tavondre Sweat in the 5th round, could he be there? Question mark. Could be. If we got a 4th round pick, could we use that 4th round pick for Tavondre Sweat? Could be. Could be a great move, but a risk as well. But anyways, that's a Cowboy move.
So, let me keep
Madman said he don't want Sweat.
Okay.
Oh, there's 2 Murphys as well? Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't know. I know Byron Murphy, he's off the board. I don't know the other Murphy, but either way, Cowboys, if they don't go with they're not going to go with a top defensive tackle. The only top defensive tackle they'll grab is Tavondre Sweat. And it'll have to be in the 4th, 5th round if we got a 4th rounder, or if he gets to the 5th round and we use it there. Then I wouldn't mind using it, but like Man said, I don't want him. He had a lot of red flags. A lot of people, I'm hearing a lot of teams have taken him off the board completely.
So there you go. Let me keep rolling with the shout-outs here as well. We have Matt Persico, Larry, Madman, Rolando Rodriguez, Scorpio. Let me see. Stephen White. Ken Please. It's an interesting name there. Chat to Montana 808.
Yeah.
He said, "Oh, I'm coming. That's my comp pick." Saying this to Stephen Jones.
Oh yeah. That's that's Michael Gallup right there, ripping away from him.
Yep. Thomas Garrett, Superior Garrett. Take it easy. Scorpio, much love. Simon Says, of course. Hope you're feeling better. Rolando Rodriguez in the house. We have, let me see, who else? I think we shouted out everyone here. Lead Commander. Even you.
He's repping his Commanders.
Oh. So, let me see. Kevin Bilbo, Bama Fan, Choice Roberts, Raul, Stephen White, James Herr. And, yeah, actually, that's as far back as it lets me go.
Perfect. So we got it wrapped up, guys, and I think there's one more name at the bottom.
Oh, right? MCF After Dark. I wonder who that is.
I mean, you might be seeing him go live for an hour or two tonight, so stay tuned on a Fan Friday into a Saturday morning special. On that side of things, a little MCF After Dark, a little music, maybe a couple drinks. It will definitely be a quicker stream tonight, though, for sure, guys.
So, with that said, baby, why do we do what we do here at MCF?
It's about that navy blue. Mm-hmm. That silver, too. And, of course, and always, that star over everything, guys. I'm talking about win, lose, or draw on this channel. Good, bad, or ugly on this channel. Here in MCF, we always, no matter what, good, bad, or ugly, win, lose, or draw, we rep that star over everyone and everything. On the Cowboys, players, coaches, ownership, the best, your favorite player? Nah. That star is still over everything. And here on My Cowboys Family for almost 7 years, never forget the number one thing here, now, and forever. As always, go Cowboys. Let's get that 6 and beyond. We got 5. We need that 6 and beyond. Thank you all for dropping your comments live right here with us on MCF, My Cowboys Family. We will be probably, unless there's some breaking news tomorrow, some big news, we'll go live no matter what. But if there's nothing, if the same old stuff, we'll just go live on Sunday. Mm-hmm. And that'll be our finale. I think that's like 5 shows or 6 shows in 2 weeks. We're going to have a winner tomorrow, guys. I mean, on Sunday, no matter what. Cash App, gifting, overall board. We'll see who wins those. And hey, you'll be part of the, you might get a lucky weekly winner raffle entry for the end of the month raffle. So we'll see what happens. The month of April raffle. We'll see what happens. But guys, thank you again for rocking with us and dropping the knowledge in the chat. And of course, those that dropped the love from above, the great Stanley Smith with the Cash App, Mark Hovsepian, aloha, all from Hawaii, are dropping a whole bunch in there. Jason Renfro also trickling in some drops, and Skeptical Fan kicking it off tonight, along with Tammy Soltis in the membership side of Navy Blue Crew. Appreciate, again, every single one of you guys that dropped the knowledge and dropped the love. Can't do this without both those things. And also, as it's time to clock out of here officially and drop out of here officially and relock and reload, whether it's a Saturday special tomorrow with some breaking big news or probably more of a Sunday finale right here in My Cowboys Family. Mm-hmm. For the last 2 weeks, we extended it an extra week, so we got 2 weeks built up for a Sunday bash. a Sunday fun day finale, and we'll see what happens and who takes down the top spots here. But we'll do that on probably Sunday. We'll be back tomorrow if there is something big going down. You can always catch us on MCF After Dark. You see the eyeballs, follow the eyeballs, follow him to the channel, and you subscribe and hit the notification bell because they're only shown once and they get deleted right away. So you can't rewind them. It's kind of like our party streams, but it's every day over there on MCF After Dark. When we're live, it's like the party streams in the sense of that you can't rewind it. You got to watch it while it's live, and they get deleted immediately afterwards, and that's that. So appreciate everybody here, including MCF After Dark, for showing up and dropping the knowledge, the love, as we're dropping out, clocking out, and relocking, reloading, probably for Sunday for a finale here for the last 2 weeks. Baby, your turn to tell everybody here on MCF and let them know what we got to do before we drop out of here for the night.
We got to drop the beat.
Oh, yeah. The beat's been dropped. And it's a wrap right here on My Cowboys Family. Hell yeah. We hope we got everything figured out. and kind of went through all the news and notes that are of importance here on My Cowboys Family. It took us an hour and a half, but we got it all done. 2 days worth of news, Tyler Smith stuff, and more. A big wrap-up here on MCF as we finish up another MCF Cowboys chat right here. Talked about Tyler, like I said, Dak, the draft, and the incompetencies of Jerry, the world's greatest GM, of course, and Stephen Jones, his son, that's kind of taken this and took it even deeper into a dive, it feels like. We talked about it all right here on MCF, My Cowboys Family. It's about that navy blue, that silver too, and that star over everything. Never, ever forget the number one thing right here on My Cowboys Family. Much love to everyone in the house with us rocking. Don't forget to hit that like for the stream. Helps the analytics. Subscribe to the channel and keep growing this thing. And don't forget to hit that notification bell to on to all videos. Follow us all social media at My Cowboys Family, X, Twitter, on and on. We got Discord and the rest of the information. Drop the love any way you want. All that information is in the description down below. If you're watching us on a replay, leave a comment, hit the like and subscribe and all that good stuff. And we'll see you all very shortly. It's Saturday or Sunday. We'll see you guys soon, guys. Thanks again. Much love to all. Stay safe. Have a great weekend. Peace. And never, ever forget, Go Cowboys!
Monk on the beat. Monk on the beat.